Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy New Year 2025. It's time to thrive in 25. So with that, I've been drinking lots of caffeine and I am on fire this morning. Woo! Hey,
this afternoon, you mean?
This afternoon. See, all morning I've been drinking coffee. So it's time to get a little woo. And as we are into 2025, I'm Coach Les, and I'm here with Mr. Yarwood from Yarwood's Martial Arts. It is the Yma Mat Chat, and we are starting off the year talking about the most important thing to kick off the year with, and that's the importance of goal setting, not only in martial arts, but also in life. Now, I want everybody, first off, I'm going to start with a disclaimer. Because everybody says, what if I change my mind? Well, guess what? Then you change your goals. The idea is to get something on paper, out of your head, out of the pinball machine called your head, and onto a piece of paper. So we have some to share with you today and to give you a great start over the next 30 minutes. And what I'm going to start out by saying is we all have dreams. A dream is in the moment an unclarified goal. That's it. So some of you go, well, I don't know what my goals are. Well, what are your dreams? And for those of you that say, man, Coach Les, I sleep so hard, I don't even remember my dreams. It's like, okay, I can guarantee you, as that type of person, have dreams and aspirations and thoughts about the future every single day. That's what we're looking for. That's what we want you to be focusing on as we have this conversation today, as we look at the 7 different aspects of goals according to the martial arts world. So stay tuned. We're all over the internet right now. We're on Facebook at 3 different locations, LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. And this is an opportunity for you. If you're just flashed in or it popped up on your screen, you can either watch the whole thing right now, or you can come back and watch the replays, because it's going to be out there for all eternity for you to be able to find. So with that, welcome, Mr. Yarwood. What do you want to say to get us started? And perhaps you want to get us started with a little more direction versus a little more the loud splash that I've done.
I know it's kind of cliche to talk about goals and resolutions at the beginning of the year, but the reality is everybody sets them, and then, like, was it Ron Popeil used to say, set it and forget it? The people have all kinds of plans and desires and dreams and goals at the beginning of the year, and they go, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. One of the biggest problems I see is most of those resolutions or goals, and like you said, aren't even written down. They're things they want to do, have wanted to do, have thought about, but they don't actually do anything about it. The biggest thing you do is write it down. Once you get it written down, you can read it, post it somewhere on your mirror in the bathroom, above your desk at work, what on your phone, wherever it is, have it in front of you, right? And when you start with a goal or a resolution, let's say you want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. That's not a resolution. That's not a goal. That is an idea, barely, right?
Eat less, exercise more.
Yeah, I'm going to do more exercise. Okay, good. What does that mean?
More or less.
More or less, right? So you're when you're doing goals or resolutions, writing them down is like step number 1A. Then once you determine you want to lose weight, okay, how much weight do you want to lose? What is the percentage of your body that you want to lose, or how many pounds or whatever? So now you have an amount, right? You have say it's 20 pounds. Okay, when do you want to lose it by? You want to lose it in 2 weeks, 2 months, a year, whatever that is, right? Once you have that time frame set down, now you got to figure, okay, let's break it down. So if I want to lose 20 pounds in 3 months, how many do I need to lose in 1 month? How many do I need to lose in 1 week? How much do I need to lose in a day? Right? However you want to break it down. But if you break it down in smaller increments and have little guideposts and guide rails along the way, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to do. If you just come out and say, I'm going to lose weight, it ain't going to happen. Not going to happen. But if you have ways to track it and measure it and see it and be excited about it, it makes your goal setting and goal achieving much better. And, maybe you'll get to it sooner. And once you get to that goal, you're not done. Set another one. Keep going, right? The goals can be fluid. Like you said, things change in your life. Things happen. Maybe you're not, something comes up where you're struggling a little bit. Who knows, right? Maybe the goal wasn't big enough, which happens a lot. People don't set big enough goals. They set a goal to maybe it is 20 pounds, but in reality, 20 pounds is like a bare minimum that they need to lose. Maybe they need to lose 50. Well, set it for 60. If you don't get to 60, that was your goal. You still made it to 50. Now you got, okay, now the next goal is 10 more pounds, right? So it's a fluid activity that makes sure you're updating it and keeping it going or changing it as you need, right? It's not a static thing. You're not like, okay, this is it. If it doesn't happen, I'm done. Well, it doesn't work that way, right? So it gives you some guidance, some direction, some focus on what it is that you want to do so you can move forward and get those things going. So you have something that you're working on and you can look at it every day and say, okay, what did I do today that got me closer to my goal? Did I achieve a milestone or did I not? Did I not do something today which created an issue where now I'm further away from my goal than I wanted to be? Right? It keeps you, if you have a way of tracking it and way of measuring it, it keeps you accountable to it. So it makes it a lot easier to get to where you want to go.
Yeah. I think the other thing about goals are that is so much fun as you create that direction and focus that you're looking for. As one of the tricks that I learned as a self-expression leadership program leader was the ability to go out into the future, stand in the future, turn around and look back to where I am. And standing in the future, whether it's a year or 3 years or what I usually recommend is go 5 years out and turn around and stand and look and see inside this 5-year picture that I'm looking at. What do I want to see? In the world of martial arts, for me personally, I want to see a 2nd degree black belt. I want to see, leading a classroom at least once a week as my way to give back. I want to look and see 10 ice cream shops. I want to look and know that I'm working with 16 clients every week or every other week, because some of them are on every other week. And those are key things. Those are key big goals for me in each of the areas that are super important to me. And 5 years from now, I also know my wife is going to be retired from a postmaster job and she will be in the business full time. So to know and have enough stuff for her to keep her busy and a role that fills her with joy every day, that's an extraneous goal for me, even though it's somebody else's world, that I can hold the space for that and be responsible for that. Now I come back to, okay, to have all of that happening, what are the things that I have to have done by 4 years? What are the things I have to have done then by 3 years to get to the 4, to get to the 5? and then come back incrementally, and in that time span, look at that time span and go, so that it becomes, instead of me looking and guessing into the future, I'm actually standing in what has transpired and what has occurred and what has to be accomplished at this point for me to be where I am. And that's a foreign concept to some people, because they're just throwing darts into the future. They're just, somebody said this, so I'm going to adopt that, or I'm going to see this or that. And there are specific, measurable, accountable, realistic, and timely goals for each step along the way. Over to you, sir.
Yes. So, I mean, obviously, for us in martial arts, a lot of people set their goal at first degree black belt. When they walk in the door, I want to be a black belt. Okay, well, how are you going to do that? I don't know. I just want to be a black belt. Like, okay, well, let's figure it out. Let's sit down and go through the process of what it's going to take for you to earn a first degree black belt, right? We have, for our school, it typically takes about 4 years to get there. Most people go, what? It's like, yeah, it's not a fast process. You don't suddenly just come in and there you are. It takes time. It takes work. It takes energy. It takes sacrifice. It takes all those things. And if you don't have an understanding of what your goal is, then you aren't going to achieve it. So we sit down and say, hey, here's the deal. We have these many ranks, belt ranks that you need to go through to get there. In order to get each belt rank, you need to do this, 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 and this. In order to do those things, you need to do this, 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 and this. So we break it down literally almost to the class about what they need to do per class in order to get to their next rank, in order to get to the next rank, in order to get to black belt. And like I said before, black belt, may be their goal, but once they get there, that's not when it stops. That's when it starts. So we look at it, okay, once you get first degree, here's what you need to do to get your second degree. Here's what you need to do to get your third degree. Here's what you need to do to get your fourth degree, and on and on and on. And it's an ongoing process. It's not a static thing. It's not something that is just there. It takes action, work, and like I said, dedication to get there. But if you have a roadmap, you have a plan for it, if you know where along that route you are, and you can say, okay, now I have this, this, and this left to do. Maybe along the way, something gets added to it where you go, okay, now I want to do this. Maybe you want to become an instructor as well. Maybe you want to join a competition team. Maybe you want to be part of a leadership class, right? There's all these other elements that go along with it. Well, those things are, now you have goals within those as well. So you have these simultaneous things happening that are going to get you to where you want to go. So, things change, things are moved around, things are upgraded, updated, accelerated, whatever you want to do. And, it becomes something that, okay, I'm going to do this. Sometimes it's going to suck, right? But it's easy to get lost if you don't have a map, right? It's easy to get off track. But if you know what your roadmap is and at least your general direction, it's way easier to follow and get where you want to go. And then there's always going to be people around you who are doing the same thing you're doing, who are going to help motivate you. Like, all right, I'm going this direction. So are you. Let's go together. Let's do this stuff together. And then keep each other accountable to the things that, that you're doing. So that way you're not doing it by yourself all the time. You have other people to help you along the way. So if you stumble and go, crap, I don't want to do this, somebody will pick you up, say, come on, let's go. So it's a good thing to have those people, those around to support you, to help you, to push you, to pull you, whatever it is they need to do, and vice versa. So that way you're doing it. If you're alone, it's a lot easier to quit because you got nobody keeping you accountable, keeping you motivated, keeping you moving forward.
Yeah, it's and I think that the check-in, just like going to martial arts or just like being with a coach, that regular checkup, that regular check-in, that regular appointment that holds you accountable in the moment is imperative. to be able to look at that accountability and know that you can be held accountable. And you say, my goal is to be there twice a week. At the end of the week, every week, you can say, I was there twice this week. Or, you know what, I got an extra one in, I was there 3 times. And knowing that, hey, you know what, if I don't make it, in the back of my head, there isn't an if. And when something comes up, to be able to acknowledge it and be in communication right away. Because life does life.
Yep.
And I think so many people are so afraid that they just get stuck. And I think part of that is kids are not used to solving puzzles anymore. Kids today are handed these electronic devices, and all they have to do is ask Siri. So when you start to think about why to have these activities like martial arts that hold you accountable, that build principles, that build skill, that build discipline, that build accountability. That's what there is. And I think that as you develop, to me, it's all muscle memory. It's all a muscle memory to get to where you want to go. And like working out with a physical muscle memory. Same there is with a mental muscle memory.
Yep. And also it teaches, we talked about this recently, perseverance, not giving up, not quitting. When you have a goal that you want to reach and you have it figured out how to get there, it's easier to keep going because you can see it, right? When you develop that desire to not want to quit, you look at the page, you go, okay, I am where I'm supposed to be right now. And if I stop right now, I go back to where I was and not forward to where I want to go, which means I have to come back this direction again to move forward even further. So you're losing ground, right? When you quit, then you got to start all over again. And I've always heard that if I quit now, well, how would it go? If I worked too hard to get where I am now. I forget what it is. But it had something to do with basically a year ago, I wished I was where I am right now. And if I quit, I'll go back, right? So the past me would have been happy where I am now. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I think
I got this far. I came too far to turn back now, right? It's just one of those things, like you do all this work, put all this energy and sacrifice into something, and then you just stop doing it. You not necessarily wasted it, but if you want to do it again, you got to start over. And if it's truly something you want to do, you're wasting time and energy pushing yourself forward and then stopping, and then you got to start all over again.
I think number 6 on your sheet here, teaches the value of perseverance, is really what you're speaking about in a big way. Progressing in martial arts often involves setbacks, teaching grit and patience. In life, sticking to goals despite hardships cultivates a growth mindset. Without that, the law of entropy says that you're either expanding or contracting instantly, moment by moment. There is no, I'm just going to take a rest, Coach Les. I need a break. There is no such thing as a break. I'm going to stop moving towards my goal. And here's the responsibility for the goals that I set and where I'm at on those goals.
Yeah, it's I personally, I track things. I like to see where I'm at. I like to see what's going on. I like to see what's it going to take to get where I need to be. And when I look at that, it helps to keep me moving forward because I'm like, okay, look what I've already done so far. When I can physically look at it, say, okay, I started here and now I'm here. I only have this far left to go. If I can physically see it, like if I'm halfway, I'm like, man, look how far I've come already. And it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So to physically be able to look at something when you write it down and keep track of it, like it keeps that motivation up to say, okay, I got this. I'm not dead. I got to this point. I'm not dead, so I can keep going. And it having those visual reminders, those visual motivations of what you've already done, I think is a big part of it. Because if you don't, most people say, yeah, I'll remember. Think about the last time, you're doing something and you had a reminder in your brain, like, oh, I should do that. I got to remember to do this. This is what I got to put on my list, right? And you don't do it. 99 times out of 100, you forgot. And then you're going, what was that I was going to remember again? Right? If you write it down, it takes it out of your head and puts it on paper, you'll remember it. So if you see what you're doing, say, okay, I did this, and this, and this is what happened. Then I did this, and this. This is where I am now. You can look back on that and see it and remind yourself of what you were doing and what it took and what it's going to take to get further. So I think it's important to write that down. Even if you don't get where you thought you were going to go, at least you can see your path and you go, okay. Or you got off track and you look at your what you've been tracking, you're like, this is where I got off track. Now I need to change my direction and get back on track again. And when you're literally looking at it, you can see it. It's going to be a lot easier to make those changes.
And for some people, that sense of fulfillment is such a powerful motivator. And I think, one of the ways that I think you've designed, and you can probably share a little bit more about this, the stepping stones between testings in martial arts is very much like the stepping stones in accomplishing certain things like sales goals to get to a certain number for the year or for a quarter. In the martial arts world at Yarwoods, it's about getting the stripes. And the stripes each represent different aspects of your martial arts journey, which include, and I'll let Mr. Yarwood go into detail on some of these if he chooses. They make sure that you're on the right roads, that you're on the right track, that you're managing with integrity and for integrity the journey.
Yeah, we use and that's what I was talking about, is we break down each rank specifically into smaller parts and how you earn that next rank, right? We break it down. We start at the very beginning and you have to learn new moves. And once you've gotten those moves, you don't necessarily need to master them, but you need to at least understand them. Then we move on to adding a form, which puts those moves into relevance, right? We take 10 moves and we put them into this form. So now you're doing one move after the other. So now you're connecting the dots with the moves, right? We also talk about understanding the knowledge base of what we're trying to teach you, right? The history of Taekwondo, the name of the moves, the name of your form, the life skill that we're talking about. So that's an element that is built into it as well. We also have the community service piece. So now, as part of earning your rank, you also have to do community service, and understand that it's not just about getting, it's about giving, right? So when you earn that purple stripe, you're doing the community service piece. You're learning about giving, right? Sacrificing for somebody else and not necessarily getting anything back for it. And also we talk about, what are you doing outside of the dojo? It's not just what you're doing on the mats, but what are you doing at school? Are you doing all your homework? Are you being respectful to your teachers? Are you, being helpful with your peers? Are you, whatever it is you're doing at school, are you doing the right things? Same thing goes for at home. Are you helping with your chores? Are you getting your homework done when you get home? Are you respecting mom and dad? Are you respecting your siblings? Are you respecting your stuff? Are you respecting your time? Right? So all that stuff is built into earning your rank. It's not just about doing the physical stuff. There's so many other elements to it. And once all those things are achieved, then we double check everything, make sure you're where you need to be, and then you earn that final stripe, which tells us that you're ready to test. And then you test, you earn that belt, and then it starts all over again. The next goal is your next rank. And I do that. I break things down in training the moves too. Like when we're teaching a kick, right? I break it down in its most basic parts, teach people how to make their body move properly to execute a kick. And once they figure out the parts of it, then they put it all together, and now suddenly they know how to kick. And then we teach them, once they learn the basic elements, now we add in all the other little parts that make it even better, that make it more proficient, more efficient, more effective. And, so the goal is a proper kick. But if you don't know how to kick to begin with, you're not going to learn how unless, we break it down, teach you some different parts of it and move on. So the goal is to learn how to kick. And then the goal is to learn how to do the punch. The goal then is to take those moves and put it into a form. And then once you get all that, now we make it better. And I mean, it just continues. It's an ongoing process. And it's teaching the kids too, okay, Mr. Yarwood taught me in order for me to get my belt, I need to do all these things. He also taught me that in school, if I want to get good grades, I need to do all these things. He also taught me at home, if I want to get things from mom and dad or do things fun, I got to do all these things, right? So it's constantly teaching them how to get where they want to go based on the goals that they set for themselves and the little steps along the way that get them there.
Zig Ziglar says something about goal setting, and I'd love to just take a quick second to share about it because I think it's something that will make a difference. The day before a vacation, right? If planning one day of your life can make such a radical difference in that day, think what a difference a game plan for life would make.
Yeah, most people are really good at planning a vacation.
Especially the day of, right? When they're getting ready to get on the airplane, what do? They go through a checklist. Do we have this? 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 Do I have my passport? Do I have enough pairs of underwear? Do I have my toothbrush? Do I have my razor? Do I have, blah, 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 all that stuff. And they're super meticulous because they know when they get to where they're going, if they don't have it, eek. Now, yes, there are, I've gotten to the point now as a, at my age where I kind of go, you know what? If I show up and forget something, I'm not going to make it a big deal because I don't stress about it anymore. And I know, like, if I forget toothpaste, no problem. I can get toothpaste to where I'm going. I know that. On the other hand, if everything's taken care of and I've gone through my checklist and I know what it is that I wanted to bring with me and I have it all and it's in my suitcase, it is so relaxing to not have this perpetual noise in my head going, do you remember everything? You got everything? Oh, did you remember your dental floss? How about your braces? How about your retainers? So goals help you focus your energy and accomplish more. Focused energy will take you farther than going with the flow. The clearer your goal, the more apt you are to reach it. And the Chinese say that the journey of 1,000 leagues begins with a single step. In goal setting, you may not know exactly what you want. In that case, you go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you can see further. Any final thoughts for you?
So I had a football coach, defensive football coach in high school, and he had a sign in the weight room, and it was right when you walked in. You couldn't miss it. It was right in front of your face. It said, "A goal is just a dream unless you make it happen." So the action piece is important, right? If you set a goal for yourself and then don't do anything about it, it's not even a goal. It's not even, it's barely a dream. It's a statement that you made at some point in your life. So, making a goal for yourself is like step 0.1A, right? You got to keep going forward with it. Make it happen. Take action on it and keep taking action on it. Otherwise, it's going to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll have to continue, because I think this is a good one. I think next week we should take another. So for those of you that are listening, take the next week to come up with some goals. Some of you, if you have questions, come up with them. Challenge Mr. Yarwood or I. Reach out to him. Reach out to me. Put us on the carpet. Throw it out. Question out on Facebook or on Google. Go to our, and ask us. Try to stump us with a question.
Bring it.
Yep. Awesome. Anything else for you, sir?
No, sir.
All right. With that, thank you all for being here. We're going to do our fun little kickoff to say goodbye, and we will see you
on the
next
mats.